What up, though? This your brother Mike X.
My killers got them suits on like followers of Farrakhan.
And welcome to the 17 Winners Podcast, the realest podcast in the game.
I'm the jig in my city. Yeah. I'm not saying they not good. Nah. I'm just saying I'm the realest. Facts.
This is a free call from an inmate at the Michigan Department of Corrections, Muskegon Correctional Facility. If you feel you're being victimized or extorted by this prisoner, please contact GTL Customer Service at 855-466-2832. To accept this free call, press 0. To refuse this free call, hang up or press 1. This call is from a correctional facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Three-way calls are strictly prohibited in a violation of MDOC policy. Thank you for using GTL.
What up, though? Joey, you back?
What up, though? Yes, sir. I'm back. I'm back.
Good to have you back, my brother. Good to have you back, my brother. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And for the record, man, my listening audience keep on hearing this thing talk about you have a free call. It ain't free. Somebody paying for it. It was either paid for on Joey's side or paid for on my side, but it's for sure paid.
No, you want to know how God works? This is a promotional call. GTL is paying for this call. That's when I dialed your number, it said, free promotional call. I said, okay. This is ordained. This was supposed to be happening free of charge.
Dope,
we ain't even we going to keep all our money.
I ain't even going to cry about it. We getting off then, all right? Well, maybe they is hearing it right then for this.
Yes, sir.
I can appreciate that, GTL. Good looking out.
Thank you. You get something back. Yes, sir.
Now, I don't want to get straight too far away, man, because before we ended our phone call, you said something that I wanted to highlight more because it kind of connects to what we just saw over this last legislative period. And there were a couple of things on the playing field when it comes to getting time back or like relieving the prison system in Michigan of some of the weight that we've been carrying, and both of them failed. And that was the credits, behavioral credits or productivity credits, and it was the second look legislation.
Yes, sir.
But what you said, you talked about what kind of steered your change in prison. And I want to talk about that a little bit more because you say, I could be chilling on my bunk, ticket free, not doing anything productive with myself.
Right.
And I would still technically, not be a problem. I would be, looked at as a productive prisoner, I guess, or a good prisoner.
Yeah.
But realistically, there's another level to really rebuilding yourself while inside. They like to call it. They like to call it, like they were, reintegration or not reintegration, rehabilitation.
Yeah, reentry, reintegration.
Yeah, but it's not really rehabilitation, right? Because to habilitate means that you were already in a habitual state, right? You were already in a good place, and you're getting put back there. So we ain't rehabilitating. Some of us are already we're in a bad place and are fixing those bad things while we're in there, right?
Man.
That's a whole nother level though, because there's no measurement for that. There's no way to say, hey, y'all, look how much productivity that I've been putting out.
Right.
Okay, yeah, not only have I not gotten any tickets, not only have I not violated any what would be the equivalent of laws in prison, but I've also done things to build myself as a person and build the community around me. Speak a little bit more to that, bro, from your standpoint.
Well, okay, so I was president of National Lifers of America. I actually just resigned once this juvenile stuff and felony murder stuff happened. Just to pour more into myself. But I've been the president of National Lifers for 4 consecutive years. And a lot of the work that I do is to build programming for lifers and people with long and indeterminate sentences. Mm-hmm. Before last year, a guy sitting in prison couldn't go and take violence prevention program. A guy with a murder case had to sit and wait. Say a guy had 25 years. He would only be able to take violence prevention at 23 and a half years. Mm-hmm. He would only be eligible then. You see what I'm saying? So if you sit in a violent place and you're not able to take that quote unquote class that's supposed to be here for you to rehabilitate yourself with every year, not only the last year that you're in prison, but every year, is this really like productive? You know, and then not only that, I push second look legislation every year, man. Every year I get let down, and the legislature, if you're listening right now, I'm sorry, you're doing a horrible job. And I understand it. I understand victims, but there is a real immediate problem. And literally you have the tools and resources to solve it. And it's like you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? They said the average age of the lifer in Michigan's population is 60.
Mm-hmm.
That is disgusting. I watch a man downstairs. He has Parkinson's. He's been in here 52 years. He's 73 years old. He can't do anything to anybody, yet he's still walking around this facility.
Yes, sir.
This is not okay. That's not humane. And when I speak about, going back to what we were talking about, my mind just shifted. But when I speak about productivity and, you know, second look chances, things like that, like you said, there's no measuring stick. I went to see the parole board on my 10-year review as a lifer. Parole board can't do anything for me, but he sat and interviewed me anyway. Beautiful interview, went amazing. He didn't treat me like the scum of the earth. He didn't attack me. You know, he asked questions, received the answers, and we had a good back and forth.
Okay.
But the very thing that I told him is, you know, because I wasn't invited to take classes, I started making my own, you know, and then fortunately enough, I'm able to network and send those guys around me. They'll listen to me. I have a level of influence.
Okay.
So I'm sending not only my work, but their work to the parole board individually for them. You know, so that you won't think that, you won't get the idea that somebody's just sitting here not doing anything because the administration won't allow you to take the classes that they have.
Yes,
like
sir.
vocational village and all of that stuff that they say that they have, those are things are working beautifully. My homeboy just got into welding. He's doing amazing in it. But he goes home in December. A lifer can't get into welding. Somebody with 30 years can't get into welding.
True.
He's just sitting here, you know. They won't even take him into consideration to go to welding or take horticulture or computer classes and things like that.
Right.
And so this is what I'm saying. Like, the majority of your population is serving long indeterminate sentences in life.
Yes, sir.
And these are the people that you've blocked out of your program, so to speak. Thank God the college programs have came, you know. But up until 2 years ago, you couldn't get into that, you know.
So I've been lately introducing the idea of like something like a full term programming that needs to be developed with all stakeholders, all shareholders involved, right? People inside, people outside, program developers, all of that, right? Because like you said, someone who has a long indeterminate sentence does not have the ability to get programming until they get short, right? But say someone like yourself who you have done the work to rebuild yourself as a man and created programming and that type of thing, right?
Yes, sir.
But say you were to say laws change and you are released tomorrow, or your sentence is commuted in and changed tomorrow to you are expected to be going home Monday, right?
Yes, sir.
You, or maybe not you, but someone like you who has not been as able to develop programming and stuff like that you have.
Right.
Imagine the challenges of that individual coming home without having been given any programming opportunity. But then all of a sudden you're innocent. Yeah, you're like, all right, today you're innocent. We found out you didn't do it, but you've been in prison 20 years.
Yeah.
Go start over. So my idea, or I guess the idea that I've been kicking around, and I want to kick it into you so you can kick it around too, is the concept of like building programming that can be used from the day you walk in all the way until the day that people come out. A lot of peer-led programming, chance for life type of stuff.
Yeah. The crazy part is they won't even, at certain facilities, they won't let chance for life happen. This is what it's counterproductive at this point, you know, and you get to wonder, like, is this really for my benefit, or like what's really happening, you know? And so like, there's so much, and it's just too much to even lay out right now, but we do peer-to-peer programs here, and that's where we started. You know, we started the Streets Don't Love You Back program. Me and my homeboy started Voices of the Pen which was basically a creative writing class. My guy Keys, he does real estate on your own, Spanish on your own, sign language on your own. You know, there's things, if a man wants to sit and cultivate his mind, there are ways, but there's nobody forcing that to happen is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying anybody should.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, you got to be the creator to your own solution, you know, but the place that you're sentenced to doesn't have the answers to how to rehabilitate somebody. You have to create those on your own, and that's not okay.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't tell a person to go to NA or rehab and say, well, yeah, figure it out while you're in rehab. No, he or she is going to have to go to programming every day, all day.
Yes, sir.
So, I like I said, I get lost and I get to going too hard, but that
no problem.
I'm with that side of it, man. I'm with that side of it, the solution side of it. Don't placate around what's really happening. The real thing is that y'all are warehousing human beings as a benefit to keep jobs flowing in Michigan. That's the reality of it, you know. And I understand job security, but it's not okay when you're not giving real solutions to the people that you are calling criminalistic and irredeemable or corrupt.
Yes.
That's not okay.
That's not.
It's not okay.
So to switch gears a little bit, all of that was a little heavy, right? So I guess to like lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, give it to him.
Tell me about one of your biggest lessons in the time you've been gone.
Oh, man.
Tell me something that's really been impactful, like life-changing. Because, like, I mean, in 10 years, you've seen a lot of the penitentiary, and you got a life.
Man,
so I know you
I
came
cry
down
right
to level
now.
4.
Yeah. But that wasn't my hard time. You know, level 4 for me was algebra. So you in your cell trying to figure out your case. You go out gang banging, and then you come back in. Like, that wasn't hard for me.
I did about a year at algebra, man. Algebra was a different level of penitentiary.
Algebra was a bad mug. Yeah,
that's a different level
my,
of penitentiary.
My hard lessons were family.
Okay.
You know, it was thinking that the people that, even friends, thinking that the people that I said I loved and was loyal to, you know, would stay throughout this entire process. And it was a lesson that I had to learn that some people aren't with you forever. Some people are literally just to be with you for a time. And I'm a Taurus. I love real hard. So when I meet somebody and I love them, you know, and they're meant to be with me forever. Now, I have a group of friends, man, that have stuck with me and stood by me start from day one, you know. But it was learning that everybody is not meant to stay with you. Even my grandmother passed while I was in here. The woman raised me, you know, so that was hard, and losing people while in here. But the stuff that people say to you over this phone, you know, that also is challenging.
Yes. What
people do to you when you down, you know, when you're in a low place.
Yes.
Because they're hurt behind what you're going through too, and they don't know how to communicate that. So those are the things that lately I've been working on and having to learn. Loving someone from this distance and having them break your heart, that's also something I'm dealing with actively and trying to fight through. So, but once again, when you know what you know, when you enlightened, you know, these things hit differently because you're like, okay, this is happening for a reason, and now you're trying to figure out the reason instead of just going through it emotionally, you know. So, just learning to control my emotions, man. Biggest lesson. Biggest lesson I'm having to learn. Not being so reactive and impulsive and spontaneous in my reaction. You know?
Respect. I think a lot of us learn at least a certain level of emotional intelligence while we're inside because it may not be translated as emotional intelligence. It's more translated as you a man and you got to think like a man. In the Nation of Islam, we have a whole section of our teachers called Rise Above Emotion into the Thinking of God.
That's emotional thinking. Absolutely.
And it's like...
That study got 18?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The 18?
Yes, sir.
We just read that.
I think it's study got 18.
We just read that. Yes,
and
sir.
it's like, man, if you're emotional, then you are not only not thinking as your best self, like the God in you is supposed to, but like you are also setting yourself up to crash, man. Like...
Yes, sir.
Especially when we're talking about living in real life, because you have to get out of here. We want you getting out of the penitentiary, right, and coming home.
Yeah.
This is a different world than even the world we built up on our way in. because we thought the
Yes,
world
sir.
was a way, and it probably wasn't. Where we come from was like that, not the world.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you this. Go ahead. You had something
go
to
ahead.
add?
No, I'm listening to you.
Okay, because I was just gonna ask you like another light question, kind of on what your player like in there. I am a music guy in the penitentiary. It was a couple of things that helped
here
me
we
get
go.
through. It was my
Here we
music
go.
and it was my mind. It was like enriching my mind, getting books and
Yes, sir.
listening to music were my things. So like I was heavy
Yes,
on the player. I left with 2 MP3 players with at least a couple thousand songs on each. You feel me? So how your player like? Like what's your player vibe?
Man, I am a lyricist. I am a hip hop lyricist first, man.
Okay.
Kendrick, Cole, any spitters, man. Hove, of course, man. I got so much just different stuff, man. I'm in the vibes. I've been listening to country a lot lately too. I don't know what's going on with that, but Rod Wave actually just took me. I was going through something. He took me a place.
I can't stand that sucker out here. You hear me?
Hey, listen, and everybody says that, and I said the same thing. And I started listening to him. I was like, oh God, this man he's got it. This little young man is 25 years old, and he got it, man.
He got it. So. It makes sense because he probably translates the pain. He probably relates to pain really well.
Absolutely. He is in pain. I don't know what happened. What it is. He's telling me what happened, but it's happening to him. It's happening to him.
Yes, sir.
But, man, listen, Joey Average, the Average Show just dropped last Friday, man.
Okay.
Please go listen to it. The Average Show.
So what I'm gonna do is
Joey Average streaming everywhere.
I'm gonna put it in the description of this episode for you. The link to your book and the link to your music. So those are my listeners tapping in, man. Y'all want to check out his book, The Big Wonderful Train of Thought, or
please go check out The Big Wonderful Train of Thought.
Joey Average. I ain't got all of the information on it yet, but as soon as I go to put together the chat, I'm gonna put it in there.
Sir.
So pay attention to that. Now we may be running out of time soon, so I gotta ask this question. It's actually 2. The first question is, I watch a podcast out here that inspired me, Gilly and Wallow 267. He did 20 years in the joint himself, right?
Yeah.
And brother, actually, they done cracked $100 million on their podcast.
I seen them. I seen they getting off.
Yes, sir.
And they doing their thing, man. I salute it.
They took the word GAME and made it a acronym called it Guidance, Attention, Motivation, and Education. Any free game you want to drop to the listeners while we on here before we go?
Oh man, my acronym is FLY, man. First love yourself, man. That's it.
Okay.
You can't do anything in life until you first love yourself, and that's gonna make you fly. Ultimately, that's gonna make you glide above all the mayhem, the madness, the craziness, the haters. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna make you fly, man. First love yourself, and ultimately, man, you find you in every struggle. Find the purpose of it. See yourself outside of it, and keep seeing yourself outside of it until you get outside of it.
Yes.
Other than that, man, it's peace. It's peace. It's peace all the way. 100. Keep going.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's it, man. Shout out to my mama. I love you, mama.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anything else?
Love you. I love you, mama.
The last thing I leave room, like what should we be paying attention to in the fight to end mass incarceration in Michigan and abroad?
Oh, man.
So whatever you want to say, like this on you. What should we be paying attention to? Your listeners, my listeners are yours.
Listen. On January 22nd, the court had oral arguments. Michigan Supreme Court had oral arguments to decide if it was unconstitutional to give a 19 or 20-year-old life without the possibility of parole. Then in another case, that was People v. Taylor and People v. Zarnecki. The other case was People v. Langston. Langston has been here 46 years straight, no chaser, for a felony murder he did not commit. He was in the car. And ultimately, he's the number one case for this group of individuals that they left in prison for 50 years. So he's going to lead the way for the end of felony murder, hopefully, man. People without malicious intent should not get mandatory life without parole, and that was the question that they asked the court. Is it unconstitutional to give somebody who did not have malice mandatory life without parole? Is it cruel or unusual punishment? So, those are the two things, man. Honestly, the court is the way.
You have 1 minute remaining.
The legislature, you know, they gonna do what they gonna do. You know, hopefully they get better at their opinions and their understandings of who they have sitting in these places. But yeah, that's it, man. Those are the two cases I would tell y'all to watch out for because they're gonna shake they're gonna shake this world up, man.
As usual.
Release the people that need to be released.
That lady with that last 1 minute call.
Yeah, that's my ex. She get jealous when I talk to mom.
Yeah, so man, I appreciate you taking the time out, man, and being able to find the time and ability to get on this call, man, because I'm going to
Man, it's all great. I appreciate you, man, for your help, for your guidance. Keep going, bro. I'm proud of you.
Yes,
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be looking forward to hearing from you again, man.
Yes, sir. For sure. We will talk soon.
Yes, sir.
And more often, bro.
Peace, bro.
Peace, bro. Stay up.
Yeah.
And there you have it. Another episode of 17 Winners with Brother Mike X. Man, that was deep, kicking it with the brothers. So tune in. Make sure y'all check out the descriptions because I'm going to put his links in the description for his children's book and his music. And other than that, man, keep supporting. Free to real.